Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today more scenarios by Darth Vendar. This time around we're attacking a convoy and it's a big one. There are 10 light cruisers defending the convoy and there are 36 transports in said convoy. So it's going to be a busy ocean today. He writes, seeing a lack in lighter vessels, a new class of light cruiser must be designed and fielded to attack the enemy naval supply lines. Destroying these transports will directly limit the fleet that can be brought against us in the climactic battle with the UK Navy to force them out of the Mediterranean. The enemy will have 10 light cruisers and 36 transports. We must strike fast and hard. You have 1 hour to sink as many transports as possible. This outcome will heavily reflect on the next chapter of the campaign. Now this is part of the Miklos Horthy line. Linked down below in the description is the playlist where you can find the rest of these stories. And for this one, well, there is another one coming up, as he writes, and this battle is going to take quite the impact on that. So I better sink a lot of transports. There are no strict design requirements, just keep as many of your own ships alive as possible and destroy as many of their transports as possible. Let's go. Now we have the modern light cruiser. I have no budget requirements, I have no range requirements or speed or anything like that. So I'm going to build a light cruiser that is heavy on torpedo action. Because normally with a convoy, let's say a few convoy ships, I would probably go with a ship that is more reliant on gunpowder. When it comes to a convoy that has this many ships, this is when the torpedoes become a real asset. Simply because, well, you're bound to hit something. At that point, you're bound to hit something. 76% engine efficiency, that's with diesels. If I go for gear turbines? No, it's worse. Diesels. I start at 15,000 meter range and I only have an hour. That is potentially a problem. Because it means that I might have to run very fast torpedoes, which are more detectable. Radar is definitely useful to get more tower spotting. Radio direction finding, less so, because I have my radar. Acoustics, some of it, and a light rangefinder. How am I going to build this thing? Like I said, heavy torpedo cruiser. And they will have some guns. But these are more so to potentially sink a couple of their transports rather than actually do a lot of damage against their ships. I'm not expecting to do that. Now, these torpedoes will be electrics. That means they have a little bit less range, but also far less detectability. So that I can engage them at 12 kilometers and they will have very little warning, especially since it's a transport ship. They'll have very little warning. And if I can make them 21 inch, they will also hit pretty hard. If I make 24 inch, they're going to hit a lot harder. Current damage, whoops. This is the 21s, 868. 24s, 1700. That's about double, more than double in fact. That'll probably be enough to sink one transport. The thing is, I'm going to be firing these in bursts of potentially 8 to 16 at a time. And if I do it like that, I reload in 990 seconds, which means I'll be able to fire potentially 2, maybe 3 salvos in the entire battle. And I'll cause massive overkill when it comes to trying to kill one of their ships. So this is actually not the best option. No, a better option is probably to go with smaller torpedo tubes. These, for example, reload in 396 seconds, which is a little under 4 minutes. And that way, I can just plant a couple of torps in the water against various different targets. And do the same thing there. Starboard weight offset 100%. That's a bit much, don't you think? What caused that? Probably one of the torpedo launchers wasn't exactly lined up. There. Okay, 8,000 tons out of 10,000. I would like at least some barbette armor, even though I will not have a lot of it. These have 4 torpedoes per launcher, so that's 2 shots. Now they have more. Now they carry 6 per launcher, so that's 3 salvos. Turning circle. 677. That's pretty terrible. If I boost that, I can get it down to 569, which is not terrible. But I'm still considering that if I am going to close in on those transports, I'll not really have that much firepower to bring to bear. Let's make it 35 knots. Get me into range a little faster, and then augment my firepower with a couple of 3-inchers. These have a range out to 7.7. Super heavy shells, 8.2. And then I suppose I can bring a couple of 2-inchers to bear here. Here, and... No, not there. Is that going to be a 3? Yes. This, I think, will make a pretty decent convoy raider. Hold on, let me shift those torpedo launchers a bit. This way they have a bit more clearance. They'll maneuver a little easier. Yeah, this one further towards the bow. Hold. There. Front 4-5. Launch the stern launcher back. 0.311. 0.4. So, good enough, I'd say. Good enough. When it comes to armor protection, I'm not expecting a whole lot, because armoring up a light cruiser is pretty difficult. Considering the range at which I'll be operating, I'm going to be going in with more belt extended rather than deck. Secondaries would be nice to keep alive. Conning tower, always nice to keep that alive. Let's go for 5-inch and then a bit more on the turrets for 2. Okay. The Vuklabruk is ready for fighting. She is going to be launching a lot of torpedoes at the enemy. I have 5 of these beauties, and hopefully that'll be sufficient to wipe out as many convoy ships as possible. And the battle lineup is as such. My 5 light cruisers against their 10 light cruisers and their 36 transports. Immediately pause. I want everybody to hold off on torpedo launching until otherwise directed. You guys are not screening, you're following. And... okay. Okay, which way are you guys heading? My way? Oh. That's not necessarily ideal. It means we're going to have to cut through the light cruisers in order to get to the convoy. But look at this, for example. Is that enough convoy ships for you? This is ripe for the taking. Unfortunately, if you torpedo these, you're going to, for example, hit this guy, and the rest of them are going to escape unharmed. Okay. Okay, 13 clicks out. We're going to maneuver that way. And I want all lights to open up against their light cruisers, which are packing 8 7-inch guns and 1 dual 2-inch. That's your target right there. Smoke up while you do it. Loose formation, that's good. We're going to go for best speed. The only thing I'll have to keep an eye on is whether or not my ships are actually planning on staying the course. Because more often than not, I have an issue with loose formations where they just stop. The ships just don't go anywhere. Anyway, I have a maximum of 1 hour of in-game time to get this thing done. So I'm going to either have to cut through the light cruisers or bypass them as much as possible. And once I get my torpedo launchers in range, it's time to start popping these transports. Ideally quickly. I can fire the occasional torpedo at a light cruiser here, but I'd rather not. I would much rather keep those light cruisers at range. Or preferably, of course, sunk with 7-inch super heavy shells. But it might not go down that easily, especially since they have 10. Oh. Interesting hit. They're flooding very quickly. That was one flooding hit. Are we looking at low bulkheads? Notification is going quick as I'm very close to the target. Do you have torpedo launchers by any chance? You might. They're just not visible. Okay. That's interesting. Fan this out. Maros. That one. Shamos. That one. I'm going to allow these cruisers to open up with their torpedoes against the guys over there, because I think they might actually be able to do some work. Maros, hold. And you just launched yours. Excellent. That one is very, very heavily damaged. Well, flooded, anyway. Hold on, how fast is the Vuklebruk? 17 knots. No, unacceptable. Maximum speed. Maximum speed. Split. Move. Now, it's entirely possible that these light cruisers are going to detect my torpedoes before they become a threat. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't, so I can very quickly get rid of some of these light cruisers, because I don't want to take too much damage on my own lights. I need them alive. I don't have a smokescreen available. Also, by maneuvering with my own light cruisers, I am effectively pulling the target ships off course, potentially. Which means that they'll no longer be susceptible to getting hit by a torpedo. There. Light cruiser superb. Pretty good turning circle. Minimum bulkheads. Sonar 3. If anything will spot a torpedo, it's going to be them. You. Target the superb. Theodo, superb. The Gutsis. Target the superb. And same for the Vuklebruk. Flooding. Let's see if we can get this guy killed off quickly. They don't have any torpedoes, so finally I'm getting lucky with the AI design. Finally. The Maros has almost reloaded her torpedo launchers, at least some of them. More flooding on the superb. And this could be the first kill. There she goes. Next one is the active. Let's make that inactive, shall we? These lights have been maneuvering a lot, which means that those torpedoes sailed somewhere to there. Speaking of torpedoes, let's send some into that convoy, shall we? Ideally in smaller salvos, to ensure that we don't blow all the torpedo launchers on one target, which will promptly sink, but which will not really yield me that many kills when it comes to getting rid of the rest of the ships. Looks like the active is going to be in active trouble. Target that. That's a decent fan of torpedoes. I want to disable them for a sec. Active's flooding. Smoke up, because they're definitely attacking that one. I have to get in between the hens. Get in between the transports. Oh, Shamos is flooding. Come on. Get in there. Cause some more flooding, would you? Damage to the funnel. Chance to pen is 44%. But there is fire coming in from pretty much every direction, which will make it very difficult for them to find a good angle against all of my ships. Rudder's damaged. She's no longer flood. Oh, never mind. That's her done. She blew up. Next, Tribune. Tribune? Here are my torps. They're pretty slow. 37.5. Still faster than a transport. Of course it is. But I would very much like to get those torpedoes into that group as quickly as I can. There goes the Tribune. Next up. Come on, Birmingham. So far, we're pretty quickly chewing through their escorts, which will make life a lot easier by the time that we actually get involved with killing the transports. Let's see if I can get the secondaries to target some of the transports here, because those 3-inchers are definitely in range. There we go. Find me a large concentration of transports. Well, basically anywhere. There. Torpedoes away from Maros. She's down to 12. But this will definitely give those transports something to worry about. The other swarm of torpedoes is about to collide with at least one of the transports in the form of the Patriot. Instant death. The Patriot's down, the Watchman sinks. And those transports, some of them are up for more trouble. Looks like the Tuscan might survive, but the Danae is doomed. So far, 2 transports are killed. 3 transports. Punching more holes into the Birmingham. Let's get in there. This is what these ships were designed to do. Kill transports. We're only on 3 so far, with 40 minutes left. Now there is another torpedo swarm, salvo, whatever you want to call it, on the way. Ambuscade is burning. We could easily get another 2 here. Maros that way. That's number 4. 5. Torpedoes away. Birmingham is going to get in the way a little bit. Nothing too concerning. Something blew up. Flash fire on the Shamals. This thing is doomed. It's the Undaunted that's causing issues. There we go. I just lost one of my own ships. Parsley sinks. Torpedoes are going to hit the Mansfield. There goes the Illustrious. Mansfield is down. 15,000 damage. Thruster is very, very closely escaping death. And I can now have the... Hold on. Ooh, flash fire on the Undaunted. Spectacular way to go. Unfortunately for her, that caused so much flooding that the ship has absolutely no chance of survival. Let's get the Vukla to launch some torpedoes into that group. And if you have some more, I would rather have you launch those in the direction of a different target. The game is starting to slow down quite a bit. All these burning and killed off ships. There goes the Vesper. Let's get rid of the Tuscan. Immediately 500 damage with a mere 3-inch gun. Oh, sorry, that was one hit from the 7s. Tuscan is down. Vuklebrück is flooding a little bit. Leven is down. Like wolves circling a pack of sheep. I do want to get the Vuklebrück a little bit back, because she's taking a lot of attention from those light cruisers. And while I have eliminated a few, they still have a good number left. And I have not done a whole lot to protect these cruisers. Now we have about half hour left, in which time I think I can get rid of quite a lot of transports. Maybe not all of them, but certainly a good number. How are you doing? Oh, you're not doing too poorly. Another fairly decent spread of torps here, which will allow for potentially 3, maybe 4 transports to get killed. There goes Neptune. The game is really slowing down now. Probably too many fires for the game to start properly rendering. Oh, we got an SKP over there. Can't have that. Teodo, that's your target. Here come the transports. Sorry, here come the torps. Meteor, Watson, Verity, Spitfire, they're all at risk of getting hit by torpedoes, but it looks like the Meteor is going to be first. Amethyst, going to be going down. The Watson already damaged. Here comes the torp on the Meteor. Instant death. 4,000 damage. Watson is down. Amethyst is down. We give no quarter. The Surprise is still operational and still running. Hold off on torpedo launches, because I have one of my own pretty close in that convoy. Boom! Spitfire was already sinking, but this time around, that torpedo is not going to do that much more. The Cape Town. Burning, there goes the Dominion. These cruisers worked pretty much as expected. They are ridiculously deadly. Especially against something as light as a transport. Now, it is very much in my favor that these light cruisers just did not have any kind of anti-flooding protection. And that they are so thin-skinned that I'm able to cut through them as quickly as I am. If they had more armor, and I would have more trouble sinking them, then I probably would not have been able to get rid of them as quickly, and my light cruisers would have taken a lot more damage. I have little under a half hour left. Conflict is down. At this rate, I might actually sink all the transports. Which would, I think, gravely disrupt all operations by the British. Thruster is down. Secondary is on the Berwick. I think we're accidentally hitting the Viper, as some of the shells are not hitting the Berwick, but the Viper beyond it. The Surprise is getting caught, as is the Nymph. Berwick is almost entirely on fire. Yeah, there she goes. Extensive fire. Target the Hawk. Actually, no, target the Viper first. Get another ship down. That ought to do it. Gone. Extensive fire. You know what? I have a lot of torps on this thing. Oh, they're just loading. I was hoping that the Vuklebruk on her way through the convoy could send some torps at the Bristol, but it looks like I won't be able to. Not yet. Get rid of the Porsche. Verity is down. Hawkz sinks due to extensive fire. Just the sheer amount of burning ships here. Look at that. I'd say that so far these cruisers are proving to be quite successful. No smoke screen available. Porsche will be going down. Teodo, finish off the surprise, would you? Porsche sinks. Vuklebruk just taking a few more hits there. Target the Liffey. The light cruisers have elected to go after the Bristol with their main guns, which I think is a good choice. Ow. Flooding on the Vuklebruk. The Diadem is still out there. Destroyed cargo storage. Yeah, we can turn right back in. Just gotta make sure I don't accidentally ram one of the transports as they're going down, because that will cause a lot of damage. Time for you to bug out. You can push in. Same for the models. Because I have torpedo launchers and I'm fairly eager to use them. All guns on the Bristol. Especially since the secondaries are... Well, actually the 8s... No, both the 8s and the 2s are in range of the Ariel. I want you to back out. Teodo should have no trouble finishing off these last few transports. And I want to see how many of their light cruisers I can get killed. Flooding on the Bristol again. This is the third compartment that we're going to fill up. Liffey is going to be down. And that's the Ariel taking a lot of damage. There goes the Liffey. Yeah, keep going. The wreck just disappeared. Ariel sinks. I want you to get out. If I can save this ship, I will do that. I'm also very lucky. Well, I suppose it goes both ways. I'm lucky that these light cruisers don't have any torpedoes, but at the same time, if they did have torpedoes, I could kind of exploit that, as they would potentially launch torpedoes into their own convoy. Which, of course, would not be very good for the convoy. Okay, fine. Send some torpedoes that way. Not all of them, just a few. Boom. Never mind. They won't need any help. They're dead. Next, the encounter. Focus fire. We need to eliminate them. Faster is better. Oh, there's a transport alive. Get rid of that. That's the last one, the Milne. We need to get that thing out of the water. Guts is flooding slightly. Portside torpedo launch. Against the encounter. Quick. Torps away. They will instantly detect that, but they already have 2 damaged engines. They might not have a damaged rudder. Oh, look at them drift. Holy crap. That's good. Credit where credit is due. That dodge is amazing. But not all of them. Boom. Yep. Not all of them were dodged that day. Main guns on the brisk. Secondaries are working over that one. I want you to smoke up. You're going to target the diadem. Fukla is out. That's good. That's good. And this is how you take down a convoy, which is protected by 10 light cruisers with 5 light cruisers, with only losing 1. Bow launcher away. Smoke up. They'll detect that. They're going to turn to, probably to port. But as they turn to port, and they always turn away, they're going to run right into the torps, which will lead to instant demise of the brisk. That's going to hurt a lot. Killed. And then finally, the diadem and the Liverpool. Focus fire on the Liverpool, or rather concentrate your fire. Diadem's going to get chased down by the Maros, and the Milne is already burning. You're targeting the diadem. Secondaries are still trying to work over the transport, but I don't really have the range. Main guns on the transport. Could be a bit excessive, but hey, it needs to go down. I have 18 minutes to complete the objective. Liverpool. I'm hoping that I can damage engines and rudder. Oh. What is causing all these things to blow up? Increased complement of shells. Not any one particular reason why these things would blow up as quickly as they do. Well, barbette armor, or lack thereof, is probably not helpful. I'm not sure if the Liverpool will really require assistance in sinking. But I have a launcher, well, I have several launchers on my stern. Milne is down. Diadem is down. Last cruiser alive. The Liverpool, and even that is not even accurate. Gone. Time, 9:16:22. In less than 45 minutes, I have disabled and eliminated 46 ships with 5. I'd say that is recently my best score yet. Hope you guys enjoyed the slaughter. I'm interested to see how this is going to impact the scenario for next time. So be sure to follow, subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along with the story, and if you haven't seen some of the previous parts yet, highly recommend it, as the backstory is really good. Darth Vendar is really good at writing those. So check out the link down below in the description where you can find what happened before. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more videos.